Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina for the second week of the women's college basketball season. Number 14 NC State back in the rankings off one of the biggest wins of the college basketball year. And they welcome a nearby rival, the Elon Phoenix out of the CAA. Great night for women's college basketball here in Reynolds Coliseum, and we're joined by a three-time ACC champion in Kai Crutchfield. I'm Evan Budrovich. The Wolfpack just dethroned number 2 UConn on Sunday. How does NC State build off that momentum tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he emphasizes Pack Summit saying rebounds win championships, making sure that they have the person with the ball stays in front of them, stay in front of that person, and don't let them get touches in the paint.
What a big victory this week for NC State. Not only back in the rankings, but taking down one of their longtime foes. It had been 25 years since the Wolfpack beat the Huskies. Given the recent history, given the intensity, what a huge win for NC State.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's capital statement for sure. Making sure that they feed off of that going into this game is going to be really crucial for them. Coach Moore also said, you know, every game is a championship game. Making sure that you use every game and treat it as a win.
That was a huge win for Sanaya Rivers and company. The sophomore guard goes from being the 6th player of the year in the ACC to now one of the best. How about these numbers against UConn? 30 points, double-digit rebounds, 5 assists, did everything right for NC State.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sitting here on the UConn game, you know, you're seeing her lead vocally and lead by action. That's something that you definitely want to see as a coach into that game.
Rivers was the National Player of the Week, and that's standing by her lonesome. These numbers are impressive. 5 categories leading the team for NC State, and this is what Wes Moore wanted to see out of his club.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see 10 rebounds. That's exactly what he's talking about. That's what a coach like him wants to see.
Speaking of winning championships at a high level, Charlotte Smith was a national champion at North Carolina back in the 1990s, and here she is now as a 2-time CAA champ. This is a woman who knows how to win basketball games.
For sure, for sure. You know, she was over there at the other side at UNC, making sure she's a good leader. She said, you know, at the pregame she wants to know, you know, how to build women and making sure that they compete throughout this game. Longtime
rivals Charlotte Smith and Wes Moore go back to their CAA days 20 years prior, and they reunite tonight. Here's an early turnover for the Phoenix, and the point guard, Isis Adams, the transfer out of ECU, goes right to the rack and misses her first attempt. Here's Wes Moore's starting 5. Sanaya Rivers, the name of the game, off the Player of the Week honors. Good ball movement early as Hayes attacks the basket, and that's a blocking foul. A chance for the N1 for Madison Hayes.
We also got a shoe off early on the court.
Those boots are made for walking on this drive.
Madison did a great job attacking the high foot there on the defender on the closeout.
Madison Hayes, who's upped her scoring now, nearing 20 points a game. Her and Sanaya Rivers have carried the load offensively. 4 double figures for the Wolfpack on average. Wes Moore's noted the camaraderie of this group, the chemistry that came together in Sunday's win. And here's Elon's starting 5. Keynote starting point guard Raven Preston is out tonight. She's missed the first 2 games. So a lot of pressure on Regina Walton to run this Elon offense.
Yeah, absolutely. But last game against Gardner-Webb, she did lead the team with 6 assists.
Elon had a 30-point win over Gardner-Webb last week as Walton misses the layup, and that ball was almost tipped in by Rivers, who goes from following in the footsteps of Diamond Johnson as the point guard to now operating. How about that find to Hayes?
Great backdoor cut as a defender was playing a little aggressive on defense.
And Collins flips in the layup. How about this ball movement early for NC State?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's always great to have a good shot, but if you can make it one more pass to a great shot, that's even better.
NC State scored 92 points on Sunday. That's the most UConn had given up in almost 2 decades. As Rivers pushes it ahead. James runs the court. This is a great start in the first minute and a half, leading to a timeout for Elon. This is all NC State early. There is no cool down after Sunday's win. We'll come back with more next. Wes Moore in year 11 here at NC State. 802 wins, now entering the top 5 among D1 head coaches. And Wes noted this week not wanting to fall into the trap of a big win on Sunday and then falling flat tonight. His team has certainly come out strong.
Yep, absolutely. You know, making sure, you know, they've already coming out hot, keeping that flow from the UConn game last game.
Westmore said took Monday off to rest and recover, but Tuesday was a film-heavy day. Scouting an Elon team that put up a season high, 90-plus points in the win over Gardner-Webb. Regina Walton operates the offense here for Elon with a couple of turnovers early. Isis Adams on the attack. Comes up short. That one a bit strong from Hayes, and the first turnover for NC State.
Elon seems to be doing a pretty good job with the fast-paced running and transition defense. Definitely clogging the paint pretty well and stopping, it's easy to give up and lay up in transition, but making sure you clog the paint is very important.
Elon did force 15 turnovers a game last year. That was a strength of the Phoenix, who finished 17-12, a winning record. Walton lets it fly, and a good start for three. Regina Walton with her first three-pointer of the season. There's River Baldwin, who was excellent in the post in the win over UConn. Westmore made sure to note that. Rivers on attack mode. Nice find to Collins. That's great vision from Sinai.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The help defender came up, and there was no one there to help the helper. Great find in the paint.
Rivers was a recruited point guard out of high school, but has really developed this year as the full-time guard. Westmore's liked her ability to slide into that point guard duty from day one. Here's another point guard, Walton, with a nice step through. Adams with the hezzy, and a bit short. NC State's offense now in the top 20 in the country in scoring. They haven't missed a shot from the field tonight. Baldwin with the size mismatch, and Deringer with the block. Maya Johnson there. Taylor in transition. Excellent find, and that's where Elon's going to make their money. Jessica Booth for three.
NC State definitely needs to make sure that they close out on those three-pointers. I mean, working the inside-out game, that's what Coach Smith definitely wants to see here in this game.
Elon only a 28% three-point shooting team last year, and Rivers just kicked it off her foot. Here is a convoy of substitutions coming in for Elon, including Ruby Willard, the sophomore guard out of one of my favorite places in the country, Encinitas, California, outside of San Diego. She had a career high, 14 points on Sunday. Also checking in, Marasia Pass, the backup point guard, the freshman. She's out of Winston-Salem, local kid.
Paz did a really good job last game with 16 points.
And how about that pass to LaRue on the drive?
Yes.
Great vision.
Yes.
All of a sudden, Westmore a little more animated here on the bench 4 minutes in. NC State was cruising 7-0 into the media timeout, but Elon's made the adjustment. Here's Madison Hayes knocking down the three, and her hot streak continues. 3 of 6 from downtown this year. As a player, what's that confidence like with NC State? 18 three-pointers so far.
Spreading the defense out is definitely something that's going to make it hard on them, especially Elon. If you have post presence and then having a guard that can knock down the three-pointer, it makes it a little tougher on the closeout.
This is Vanessa Taylor with the kick out. Willard into some traffic, and that ball saved in play. This is where Rivers is special. What vision to Collins. And oh my goodness, the passing is and 1-2.
Great pass. She might have passed that from half court.
Sanaya Rivers looking like Chef Curry out there dishing dimes. How do you pull this pass off?
I mean, floating it up, but having a little bit of air up under it.
Oh. That split two receivers on the go route.
Yep, that's a touchdown right there.
Is that Phillip Rivers here at NC State? Sanaya, the reigning player of the week in the country, all NCAA basketball. And Collins completes the three-point play. Elon looking to break the press. Nice ball to Willard. And Willard runs the lane. Good size there from River Baldwin. Wow, everyone's touching the rock for NC State. And that time it stays here. There's certainly a speed and a pace to this game as Westmore checks his notes here a few minutes in.
State's definitely got, it seems like half of their points on transition offense. Great post feed.
Good find to River Baldwin, her first points of the night for the graduate senior out of Alabama.
She might have scored that with 2 defenders on her.
This is an 8-0 run now for NC State in the last 2 minutes. Pass needs a bucket here for Elon. LaRue drives in. Doesn't get the friendly bounce. Look at the hustle of Taylor, able to save it, but she was the last to step out of bounds. I love those type of plays from a guard like Vanessa Taylor.
Right.
She's the first Swedish player to ever be recruited by Elon. It was a neat story. Her assistant coach, Edgar Farmer, whose father taught in the School of Education here at NC State.
Awesome.
Found her on recruiting visit. And Vanessa's been a great find here. 2-year starter for Elon. James throws it in no man's land. And how about some of these early turnovers now? NC State starting to give the ball away. That's 4 tonight.
It seems like they're all for good looks, but it's just they need to slow down. It seems like they're translating the pace of the transition offense in the half court. But in the half court, you really have to slow down to make those good passes.
Here's the true freshman, Marasia Pass, who scored 16 on Sunday at Gardner-Webb. Sets up Willard. Not afraid to shoot from distance. Rivers now. So electric in the lane. Nice kick out to Collins, who knocks it in. Mimi Collins is having a year from downtown. That's her 5th triple. This was a player who made 9 all of last season. What a jump here in year 5.
Hey, that's what it's all about in the summer. That summer work, working on things that you feel like you can get better at, and it's definitely showing this year for her.
Wes Moore joke, not only collecting NLI money, but collecting Social Security for a 24-year-old. As Willard couldn't pull off the bunny. Look at James on the attack. Does not keep her pivot foot, however, and the 5th turnover for NC State. Good ball movement here for NC State.
Yeah, absolutely. The ball movement in the one more pass, that's what you talk about. You know, making a great pass and making a great shot, and, you know, that's what it's going to be essential for this win today for Wolfpack.
Last year, NC State was 4th in the ACC in assist to turnover ratio. Virginia Tech with Liz Kitley led the conference. And that'll be a big note for Wes Moore throughout the year, especially with the new starting point guard in. Remember, this was Diamond Johnson's offense in 22. As LaRue's off on the 3. First rebound for Maddie Cox, the true freshman. This is like a presidential enclave. Every time Sanaya touches the ball, every eye is on Rivers. Cox, though, didn't keep her eye on the rock, and that's an over and back. I do wonder what goes through Sanaya's mind when every time she touches the ball, there is a swarm of defenders.
Yes, yes. You know, coming off of a game like that against UConn, 33 points, 10 rebounds, why would the eyes not be on her?
She was the National Player of the Week, and Wes Moore spoke to her leadership, stepping up in that moment, especially when NC State was down at halftime. First win over UConn in 25 years for the Wolfpack. Now this is Jessica Booth. Couldn't pull off the John Wilkes and bounced it out. James with a nice find to Collins. Wow, it's like playing volleyball down there. Pretty good find to the tall player. All of a sudden, Elon hasn't scored in 4 minutes. And LaRue traveled.
Let's talk about Mimi Collins. I mean, 12 points, 5 for 5 from the field, 2 rebounds. What do you think about Mimi Collins so far?
I'm a fan.
Right.
It's interesting, right? When she came from the ACC and transferred over, there was a lot of potential out of Maryland, but here all of a sudden there's a 3-point threat. Hayes will exit. Although my game was the corner 3.
Okay.
I wasn't more of a post player. Had the size, but...
Have you ever shot it off the side of the backboard?
Plenty of times. We'll pull back the footage to the old Los Angeles AAU days of the early 2000s. Here with Kai Crutchfield, a 3-time champion in the ACC. Collins on a great find. Isaiah James with a nice lefty pass. Elon yet to score since the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. Isis Adams has doubled. Charlotte Smith noted we cannot commit live ball turnovers tonight. There's a good layup underneath. Nice finish for Maya Johnson.
Yep, she threaded the needle right there on that pass.
That's a local kid at a Southeast Raleigh high school, grad senior transfer. Cox, the true freshman, comes up short. This first quarter has a bit of pace to it. Elon and NC State, they've met for 6 straight years. All here in Raleigh. And the freshman misses Marasia pass. Here's a woman who's been passing all night. Calls her own number. And James heads to the free throw line. Isaiah James sparkled in her debut, 26 points. And here she is now with Sanaya Rivers. Those two guards are one of 3 Power 5 combos in the country to have 20 or more points. What a start for those two.
Very good start for them, and I'd be curious to see how long they can keep that up.
You think back at the ACC last year, only one player averaged 20 points. That was Tanaya Latson.
That's crazy.
Who put up about 23 a game. Even Liz Kitley was around 18 a night. She was first team All-ACC.
It's also great to see, the freshman Zoe Brooks and Maddie Cox come in and, be a good core off of the bench. Depth is definitely going to be something that's going to be huge when it comes to ACC play.
Those are 2 top 100 recruits in the country. As Elon, the air ball from Diamond Monroe on the 3. Nice find to Brooks. Oh, the reversal, and she missed it. Creative there from the freshman. Elon looks to run and a steal. Here's Hayes all by her lonesome for the gifted layup. This is a 19-2 NC State run. Final possession for Elon. Pass needs a bucket. Johnson lets it fly. And there you go. Good end of the quarter for the Phoenix. Rivers looks up, heaves a prayer, and almost hits it. What can't go right for Sanaya Rivers this week? What a first quarter for Mamie Collins. 14 points. Did it all. Down low, moving the rock. And it's all NC State through this first quarter. Collins and crew off to a hot start in Raleigh. Welcome back to Raleigh. Sanaya Rivers has just matched her career high in assists. 6 of them in 1 quarter.
I mean, finding the open person, making that next pass, a couple of them in transition, pushing the pace and keeping Elon on their toes.
Westmore noted her leadership, moving the ball has been impressive. And Caitlin Clark led the country last year in assists, but here's Sanaya stepping up in year 2 as the full point guard. Finding players in all different ways. State had 9 assists in that first quarter. That's an odd box score for a player who scored 30 on Sunday.
It is.
More of a passing mindset tonight. Isis Adams on the blow-by, but couldn't hit it. True freshman checks in. Mallory Collier for NC State.
And we've got a court full of youngins on the court right now.
So James, the eldest statesman, misses. Look at this fight for the boards, and James comes out with it. That's a grown woman play in the lane.
Absolutely. Coming in, big body. That's what you call mossing in football, right?
I'm going to leave you away from me boxing out. You definitely get the rebound over me.
I think I might just be able to jump over you. What do you think?
That's a good point. For the 3-time ACC champ, Kai Crutchfield. I'm Evan Budrovich. Early in the second quarter, no letdown for NC State after the nationally ranked win against UConn. Lacey Steele, the true freshman, finds Maddie Cox, also a freshman. And here's Zoe Brooks, the highest recruit for NC State, as she's fouled. Which means there's a ton of youngins for Westmore's club. You look at these national rankings. These are top 100 recruits. Brooks in the top 10, and now all 4 on the court. This is the future here for NC State.
Yes, depth. That's all you can say. Having them build up this confidence during this game, and even the UConn game, Zoe Brooks and Maddie Cox coming in and having a few statement plays, playing some good defense. As Coach Moore, that's what you want to see as a freshman, and then you still have 3 more years with them. Here's
Cox wide open and couldn't hit the 3. Headlined by Zoe Brooks, who's averaged 12 a game in her first 2. Has become a leading scorer off the bench. Also rocks some great kicks. They look like Chimera with the flowery fire all over the place. A monster as a freshman. On the attack, Johnson. Every shot contested here for Elon. And a loose ball goes out to Brooks. Look at that behind the back. Nice pass. Leading to a 3.
That was great of Zoe Brooks to really pull in the defenders into the paint. She got close enough and then was able to dish to Isaiah James out in the corner.
NC State has 10 assists on 13 baskets. That's incredible.
It's great. Ball movement.
That'll test Elon defensively. Trying to post up. Johnson here. Way off. Elon had this at a 10-8 game, but it's starting to get out of hand here in the second quarter. Collier off her fingers.
Zoe Brooks definitely pulled in the defender and then had the defender have to close out super hard to Isaiah James, but she didn't get there soon enough.
NC State coming in had averaged 15 assists per game. They're going to hit that number in the first half tonight. As the starting point guard, Regina Walton comes back in. Gatorade Player of the Year in high school in Maryland just 2 years prior. Putting the freshman on skates. Look at Brooks holding step for step with Walton and the block.
That's great defense, keeping her in front of her and getting the block on the other side.
Welcome to my crib here in Reynolds Coliseum.
No, not today.
Matumbo. Mallory is begging for the ball in the post. James kicks it out. And a turnover here for NC State. That is one bugaboo if you're Westmore. 8 turnovers in the first half.
In that situation, Mallory asking for it in the post. That's a quick whip move, you know, passing it to the top and then looking for the pin down.
These are the first extended minutes for this true freshman class. And then you mix in James, the elder statesman, as a junior. Taylor, good little step through, but couldn't hit the bucket. Elon scored just 2 points in the last 8 minutes. That has not been the problem for NC State. Here's a wide open James. And Taylor collects the board. Open three. Does not go in transition. Willard lost the rebound. And this game feels like a bunch of freshmen in there. Some AAU pace to it. Steele is left alone. And a good first basket of the night for the true freshman out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Willard's left alone. And Elon just can't buy a bucket right now.
I really think Elon just needs to slow down. NC State's really speeding up the pace, and it's working better for NC State.
Moving 100 miles an hour. 4th three for the Wolfpack, and a timeout for Elon. Well, NC State not resting on its laurels. Number 4 team in the country, rolling up 26. Welcome back to Raleigh. Friday, we have 2 big ACC men's basketball games. First, Bucknell heads to Cameron Indoor to take on number 9 Duke at 6. Then UC Riverside, led by a good friend of mine, Mike McPile, reigning coach of the year in the Big West. They'll head to Chapel Hill to take on UNC at 8 Eastern. Big night, ACC Network and the ESPN app. Best time of the year. College basketball. The fall sports are in crossover. An electric couple of weeks here in November.
It doesn't get any better than this, you know? Smell of popcorn. And a good, I guess now you say what, Chick-fil-A sandwich. They're not much into hot dogs anymore.
And the leaves are turning brown here in North Carolina. The colors are starting to come through.
Yeah.
And the matchup of maroon and red. It's all the team in red tonight. NC State shooting 67% in this first half. Video game-like numbers as Willard traveled on that spin move. You've noted for Elon slowing the game down. How do the Phoenix handle this situation?
I mean, NC State's doing a good job of making them speed up, but Elon needs to just take their time in the half court, and it seems like they're being a little stagnant on the offense. You know, they need to set some screens away, or move a little more without the ball.
NC State, meanwhile, everyone's touching the rock against this zone, including LaRue, who gets the steal. A young lineup on the court for NC State. I see Sinai Rivers check back in. She had those 6 assists in the first frame. And now an open 3 that comes up short. Rivers skies up for the board on the Asia James miss. Steele. You hear Wes Moore begging his team to move the basketball. Hayes in attack mode. Now in distribute mode. Rattles out the three. Hayes, though, fighting for the board, and a nice putback.
Hayes does a really good job of attacking the boards, especially in offense, getting them the second chance points.
All that being said, only the first second chance bucket for NC State tonight. With all
they've
that
been
offense. Making
all of them.
How about this block and the effort there from Isaiah? Almost crashed into the photog.
It's great timing there on the block. All ball, all ball. Is that another Mutombo there?
Taylor to inbound it. Elon has scored just 4 points in the last 9 minutes. That'll stay that way on the miss from Isis Adams. And then a pass that'll not make Wes Moore a happy camper.
In that situation, Williston just needs to give it up to Zoe Brooks that's on that same side instead of passing it back. You know, moving up the court and speeding him up in transition, you know, keeping that transition offense flowing.
Wes frustrated with the 10 first half turnovers for NC State. Elon on the attack, and whoa, Zoe Brooks with the rejection. Now that's a Mutombo.
Yep, that's number 2 for the night, just for Zoe.
The top 10 recruited freshman in the country. Rivers, who also was a McDonald's All-American, puts Taylor on skates, and then Hayes draws the foul. But I do want to take note of Rivers' ball handling ability on that last play.
It's almost like Rivers didn't know she was falling. Like, and then after the play, she kind of got frustrated, like, why didn't I shoot it?
That's a fun point guard to watch, Sanaya Rivers, as Hayes extends this lead to nearly 30. Remember, Rivers was the shooting guard, a backup combo guard, and this year adopting that role as the true point guard.
For sure. You know, Coach Moore says that she's been doing a great job of being a leader. And, you know, as seen in the UConn game, making sure that she consistently stays vocal and leads by action.
The first 5 assist, 30-point, 10-rebound game against UConn in 20 years. To provide some context for Sanaya Rivers. And a reach-in foul here on NC State. That was Sanaya. And this game Sunday had big implications for NC State. Not only for Rivers, who puts herself on the map with her first career double-double, but elevates NC State back into the rankings and back into the national conversation.
For sure, 11 for 19, that consistency and that efficiency, especially against UConn. You know, UConn isn't an easy team to beat. So staying that consistent and being able to facilitate for her teammates is really what helped them win that game. Nice bucket there from Marasia Pass. The first win over UConn for NC State in 25 years. And even talking around the program, some of the thoughts of an Elite Eight loss to UConn started slipping in and brought even more emotion out of that win on Sunday. For sure. Coming back home, you know, and beating UConn in Reynolds Coliseum is definitely what was warming to the hearts for the Wolfpack fans. The true freshman off on the three. Hayes has been everywhere on the glass. Good strip, though, by Elon. An Elon team that was picked 11th in the CAA. No Raven Preston, all-conference guard tonight. Continues to be out day to day. So Pass and Walton, these young guards, step in. But the shots just aren't falling. In transition, you can see Pass really wants to up the tempo and in transition offense, but it just seems like NC State is everywhere. You know, clogging the paint and being able to close out to those three-point shooters. Under the guidance of a coach who won a national title at UNC, Charlotte Smith made multiple Final Fours as a player under Sylvia Hatchell. And Charlotte was quick to remind us how much Coach Hatch still means in her life. Of course, Sylvia stepped down 4 years ago, but instrumental in Carolina. Good ball movement here from Williamson. And Rivers with her first shot attempt of the night couldn't hit it, and then Elon kicked it away.
Speaking of familiar faces, that was Essence Bacum, who spent time here as a GA and a part-time coach before heading over back to her alma mater in Elon.
We also have another former Wolfpack player, Kaylee Ely, that's sitting over there on the bench with her too.
This game is intertwined with NC State Elon ties, with a foul underneath away from the ball on Isis Adams. You can think none bigger than, of course, Coach Kay Yao, who started her coaching career at Elon, was both the volleyball and women's basketball coach before being a Hall of Famer and one of the best ever to do it here at NC State. Charlotte Smith, who has NC State ties herself in the family. We'll touch on that later tonight, but there's a name, David Thompson, that may ring a bell around these parts.
Just a little bit, you know.
Some family ties.
Just a legend.
Has his number retired across the street at PNC. And a miss there for Lizzie Williamson, the grad transfer to Southern Utah. By the way, Orem, Utah is an amazing place. If you get a chance, you got to visit. Here's a steal for Sanaya Rivers, and she is running the break in transition. First points tonight for Sanaya. And when you're in Ogden, Utah, go visit the Zion National Park. Really makes it worth it if you're into the hiking stuff.
Me and outdoors aren't the best of friends, but I'll consider it.
That's why you're a basketball standout.
Yeah, you know, indoor sports.
James with the air ball. State is running and gunning tonight, up 30. Good pass from Brooks, but she ran into Taylor. That's a charge. As a player, you're up 30 points. What are you trying to do in moments like this when the game is quote-unquote out of hand?
You know, making sure you focus on the little things. It's easy to get sloppy, but, you know, in that situation, she could have came to a jump stop and fed the ball to Madison Hayes in the corner. And in that situation, she kind of slurred it just a little bit. So those small things are really what you need to focus on in a league like this.
That's an illegal pick on Ali Wadkowski, who checks in of Denver, North Carolina.
You know, as a coach, can you get mad if it's a moving screen? Because it's like, I tried to hit the girl, you know. I tried to set the screen, but...
That's a new point of emphasis in college basketball this year.
Yep.
Calling those illegal screens.
You know, as a guard, if a post player doesn't call a screen, you're getting an earful.
Maybe a well-worth foul there if you're Wadkowski. Who looks to set a pick up top here. That time a little more movement, but not called. Oh, she's begging for the ball. Allie's fighting for position down there. Shot clock down to 10. Wadkowski, bit short, and Baldwin cleans it up. NC State shooting 61% tonight. Everything falling in this first half. Everyone touching the rock as well in the closing seconds. Brooks lost her footing, heaves a prayer, and almost banked it in. Nearly flawless first half here if you're NC State.
I mean, like you said, 61% from the field, 44% from the three, 4 for 9. You know, as far as efficiency on offense, there's not much you can ask for other than the turnovers. The turnovers, they need to clean it up just a little bit.
NC State up 30 at the halftime break. No hangover from the UConn win. Only 2 points for Sanaya tonight, but she's been impactful all ends of the court for NC State. It's halftime here in Reynolds Coliseum. NC State rolling, number 14 team in the country. They're back in the rankings because of a huge win over the second-ranked UConn Huskies. So we're going to recap and show you the best sights from that performance on Sunday.
Here in Raleigh, North Carolina, you are watching the ACC on ESPN, getting ready for the number 2 team in the nation, the UConn Huskies, taking on the NC State Wolfpack. It is a lit-up atmosphere at Reynolds Coliseum.
I'm a firm believer we can beat anybody in the country in this building, okay? It's going to be a great crowd. It's going to be a lot of energy. We got to make sure we bring that same energy and we bring that same confidence. We're ready to get it done.
Back on 3, 1, 2, 3. I just knew I had to show up today for my teammates, whether it was scoring on the defensive end, giving assists to my teammates. It didn't matter. I just wanted to come in and do whatever I could to contribute to the win.
She's got the touch today, Ernie. She's 3 for 3 already.
Nobody could guard Sanaya Rivers.
Back to Brooks. Starts to drive into the lane. Lost the handle. Mule falls down. No whistle. Spin move. Sanaya. Finger roll. Incredible.
We told them last night was your last night being a freshman. Today, when you wake up, you're an upperclassman. You know you have to pretend you've been here before, and they came out. You wouldn't even know they were freshmen.
Far sideline. Pack trailing by 6. Isaiah to Cox. She'll try a 3.
Bang! Big shot by the freshman.
Brooks shovels. Cox shot fake. Blows right by Ducharme. Takes it into the paint.
Sure.
Bakes it in. Cox has 5.
Look at that freshman go.
Elbow. Edwards. Bounce pass to a cutting. Becker swatted by Collins. Clean block. And a chance to run for NC State. It's Brooks. Crossover. Gets it to the lane. Scoops it up. And got it.
He's always got that confidence, that swag, if you want to call it that. I got a lot of confidence in him.
Zoe, no look pass. Hey, straight on 3. Canned it.
Really proud of them and glad to see them be rewarded for all their time and work.
For the first time since 1998, NC State has defeated UConn.
What an incredible performance by a team that today is unranked, tomorrow will be.
This isn't the finish line, okay? This is the start. Yep. We got to keep getting better every day. Here we go.
NC State's first top 5 ranked win since January of 22. 2 big stars, of course, Sanaya Rivers and Paige Beckers. And it went to the home squad, NC State, starting 2-0. With that, we'll welcome you back inside Reynolds Coliseum with a player who's played UConn a ton in her career. Kai Crutchfield, I'm Evan Budrovich. No hangover for the Wolfpack in that first half. 44 points. And outside of a few turnovers, everything clicking for the Wolfpack early.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Isaiah James and Mimi Collins are doing really well. I mean, both of them shooting very high percentages. We got 6 for 6 and 5 for 8.
Isaiah James was excellent scoring the basketball for NC State early. Because you saw Sanaya Rivers only the 2 points, but she was getting fed a ton on these assists. James ended up with 14 points, and what a shooter's luxury to have so many good looks.
Good looks and 1 more passes. I mean, it's good for them. They're doing a great job sharing the ball. I mean, as far as assists, they're doing great, but I'm sure Coach Moore would like to see a lot more assists and a lot less turnovers.
Mimi Collins, the second half of that dynamic duo down low. She had 10 points in the first quarter, 14 overall, and everything was clicking for Mimi. Ended up shooting 6 for 6 from the field.
Definitely doing a good job on the screen and roll here, and then also running the floor in transition offense.
Certainly helps to watch what looks like that.
I mean, Mimi Collins is doing a really good job of spreading the floor for the Wolfpack, shooting in the inside and out.
Interestingly, James and Collins both matched the scoring totals for Elon in the first half, 14 apiece, and that's 6 assists for Sanaya, now a career high, which she will break in the second half. A fantastic. She only scored her first bucket in the last minute of the first half entirely.
And I mean, that's just being a great leader. You know, you come off of a game of shooting 33. A lot of other players may get greedy and try to add on to that, but Sanaya Rivers is doing a really good job facilitating for her teammates.
That has led to NC State posting a 30-point lead in this 15th ever matchup between Elon and NC State.
Coach Charlotte Smith said she definitely wants them to continue to compete. She said, you know, playing big schools like this, you have to play them in order to beat them. So she just really wants the girls to compete in the second half.
Charlotte Smith called this a learning week with Carolina coming up Saturday. Those are 2 elite programs back to back.
Yep, going back to her old stomping grounds. Seems like Elon came out here in a zone start second half.
James breaks right through it. And Hayes hits the first 3 of the second half. 5 triples tonight for NC State. This was not a huge strength of the Wolfpack last year. Only 5 threes a game. So far, they're about 8 a night as this open 3 bangs out. Rivers running and gunning. Oh, look at that step back. And it just rattled out.
She wanted that one.
A A rare miss for James tonight, 5 of 9.
In that situation, it's a great time to, work on your moves, but then also I'm sure Coach Moore wants them to, run the clock and run the offense as well.
Johnson got trapped, so Adams helps her out. That doesn't go. Elon in the first half shot 17%. Elon's last win over NC State. You got to go back 8 years. Not able to rekindle that fire tonight, because NC State has everyone touching the ball tonight, including Sanaya, who was fouled on the way up. Think about that. National Player of the Week in the country, and only attempts 2 shots, only scores 2 points, but gets everyone involved.
Yep. It seems like she may have assisted maybe half of the points scored for the Wolfpack.
Working on 6 assists tonight. Trying to catch Caitlin Clark, who led the country. 9 assists a game, Caitlin did, along with scoring 30 a night for Iowa last year. And here's Sanaya, who started her career under Dawn Staley at South Carolina. Came in as the 6th woman backup point guard, and now it's all her show in year 2. 6th player of the year in the ACC.
I mean, what do you think it's like playing for, a championship team and coming here and helping NC State, get ranked again, after not being ranked in the top 25 here at the start of the season?
That had been a 6-week drought, as a matter of fact, for NC State. Not being in the national polls. Good bucket under traffic for Maya Johnson. And Westmore had noted at ACC Media Day his team was picked 8th, but thought we could play better than that. Here they are right back with 7 other ranked teams in the ACC, and we're 2 weeks into the season.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, this is them, a statement. They saw that what those rankings were, and they're, fighting to get their position back to #1 and potentially an ACC championship.
As Vanessa Taylor is fouled. Because coming into the year, NC State was a tournament team from a year ago, but had a lot of new faces. And you look now at the preseason poll, NC State was not considered a nationally ranked team or a major power in a loaded conference.
Right. I mean, Virginia Tech here, Notre Dame, you see those numbers next to it. But, that's what the ACC is all about. It's every game is a game to win for anyone to win. So when it comes to ACC play, I want to see NC State compete with those top teams. And like Coach Moore said, he feels like they can play better than #8.
The good news is you see 7 of those teams are ranked today. This is a loaded ACC, including Virginia Tech, #9 team in the country. They battled Iowa to the final minutes down in Charlotte last week. And here's NC State in the midst of what the numbers say are a top 5 toughest schedule in the country based on last year's RPI and record, including a sneaky good Rhode Island team that'll come to town on Sunday out of Kingston, Rhode Island. Oh, look at Taylor jump up. She said, don't sleep on the Order of the Phoenix. And then running the lane. Nice move to finish it for Asia James.
Those are the little things, you talk about with a lead like this, an entry pass into the high post. If someone got their hands up, fake a high, bounce pass low. Just those small things.
There's the goblet of fire from Asia James. Sorry, Isaiah James. There's a lot of James tonight. LeBron James in the house. Bronny James out at USC. Taylor with another nice find, and she says, I can do it better. That's James again.
Elon's doing a great job attacking the gap here against NC State, finding that open player and not necessarily cutting just a cut, but cutting to the open space.
Good pass by River Baldwin, finding Mimi Collins, who Coach Westmore noted against smaller lineups. He loves to see Mimi at that 5 position, really stretch the court.
And I mean, she's shooting the ball really well too. So when you say, stretch the court, she's running in transition and she's shooting the open 3. So as a 5 player, when it gets to ACC play and you do have those 6'5" post players that aren't able to move as well, it's going to do NC State a really good justice.
That was nearly assist 7 for Rivers, and Hayes with a rare miss from 3. Mimi Collins was not a 3-point arsonist last year. Only made 9 of them. Rub the belly and pat the top of the head.
That's like, what do they say, chewing gum? And
you do 2 things at once if you're Wes. Wes, who said, yes, the Christmas decorations are up in the Moore household, but he is not in the Christmas season just yet.
I feel like in that situation, you have to wait for Thanksgiving.
Has to trust his wife to make those important decisions.
That is an important one, though.
West said Monday was a rare off day given the quick turnaround, 2 games early, and the fact that an emotional game against UConn needed Monday to regroup and refresh heading into this game. Nice backdoor look to James. Wow, Baldwin found her.
You know, when the defense is hedging like that, the only thing you can do is cut back door. It's no need to keep on trying to ask for the ball, you know, coming out further and further, pulling your way further away from the basket.
That is 16 assists for NC State. How about this dime? Oh, and LaRue missed it. We do have a foul on the floor against NC State. Look at the vision here from NC State. Oh. So Collins has an assist. Rivers now has 7 assists. That's her career best. Here's a nice dime to LaRue. She couldn't make it count, though.
Here we go. Mimi Collins sprinting down the floor.
Feeder. Gets her on the rebound, and that time she drops it in.
She said, I'll get it anyway.
A normal assist. But the way the ball's moving for NC State, everyone's touching it.
You see Pass here trying to slow the ball down just a little bit on the Elon side.
A true freshman at a Winston-Salem Christian had a game of her life against Gardner-Webb. Now pass on the drive and heads to the free throw line. 16 points in that win over Gardner-Webb, and Charlotte Smith was raving about Marasia Pass in our call.
For sure. I mean, like you said, 16 points, went 6 for 7, and went 4 for 5 from the free throw line.
Pass and Elon had picked up a huge road win. That was a Gardner-Webb team that won the Big South last year. And Elon and the CAA wanted to prove their merit in the mid-major level. Sunday, catch a women's college basketball doubleheader on the network. First up, number 25, Oklahoma. They visit Virginia this weekend at 2. And then Bucknell busy heading to number 19, Louisville at 4 Eastern. Those games will be on ACC Network this Sunday and the ESPN app. Of course, this Sunday, you can also join NC State and Rhode Island for a 2 o'clock start. Good program out of the A10, Rhode Island. 26-game winner from a year ago. As Elon drops into the zone defense. Steele kicks it to Rivers. Splits the difference. Can't hit it. Nice board for Diamond Monroe, the freshman out of Greensboro. The pride of Dudley High School, who is one of the best high school teams in the state right now. Undefeated, 12-0 Dudley. Nice ball. Back to her. Booth on the mismatch. Oh, calling for the switch. Interesting. Splits 3, and Baldwin says enough of that.
That's just great. A great defensive possession for NC State. Then you got some good transition offense.
Rivers can't make it count, but gets the board on attack mode and is fouled. Sanaya Rivers is a problem tonight when she drives. We'll take the timeout as Sanaya Rivers continues to take over. We'll talk more about that guy, Westmore, and his Wolfpack when we return. This is a busy stretch for Westmore's NC State Wolfpack. Look at the quality of competition coming up. Kentucky, Cincinnati now into the Big 12, and number 5 Colorado on a vacation destination, not to mention an A10 favorite in Rhode Island. This is a difficult stretch here for NC State.
For sure. I mean, this is where you want to see them feed off of the energy from the UConn win. I mean, going into it with this momentum, I'm sure Coach Moore would like to limit the turnovers against these top 5 schools, or these top 25 schools, especially Colorado. And with them beating LSU, that's a hard team to beat.
That is all in the non-conference coming up. So a good slate here for NC State. As Rivers adds to her Player of the Week honors in the NCAA. 5 points, 4 rebounds, a quiet 7 assists, but doing everything right. She might quietly sneak into a triple-double tonight. You don't even see it coming.
Right.
She had her first double-double on Sunday. We'll keep tabs on that in the fourth quarter. NC State's defense gave up 12 in the first quarter. They've been locked down since. Booth, that's a tough angle, and it'll stay here for Elon. We noted the Phoenix gearing up for North Carolina on Saturday, and Charlotte Smith called this a big positivity and a learning week. Can't worry as much about the result, more the process in games like this.
For sure. Going into it, you know you're going to be playing a big school, and I mean, as she mentioned in our coaches call, just making sure these girls, feeding them, and there's different ways that you can coach. Nowadays it's more about getting the best player out of each player and having them do what they do best.
Back at home against Bradley before Thanksgiving in the N1 chance. There's Marasia Pass earning some playing time as a freshman. I love watching this pass girl go to work.
Here it seems like Collier could have hedged just a little bit more off the screen to allow her to shade away from the basket, but then she had to play her one-on-one and got the foul called.
The sports management major cannot hit the N1. Sanaya Rivers is so electric with the basketball. McDonald's All-American out of South Carolina, transferred from South Carolina, and draws the foul. Because folks had talked about when Rivers came in, her point guard ability. That wasn't on display as much last year with Diamond Johnson, but now we're seeing Rivers as a true point guard and deadly at it.
Yeah, I mean, the way that she is able to go coast to coast, she's also super long. Her length as a point guard, with that fadeaway and that mid-range, it's kind of hard to contest because, not a lot of point guards are at her stature.
One of the tallest point guards in the ACC. Rivers now setting her career high in assists tonight with 7. And with this foul, Maddie Cox with NC State in the bonus will head to the free throw line. So Maddie hits the first free throw of her NC State career. From the land of 12.5 acres of mounds in Flower Mound, Texas. Here's Willard. Ruby had a fantastic game against Gardner-Webb. Led Elon to its biggest win of the season, 30-point victory over the weekend. As Pass looks to direct traffic. Nice crossover. Pass works in, collects go like Monopoly, and can't find her teammate. What a dime. And Brooks will send her teammate to the free throw line. Maddie Cox's turn.
You love it when a post player runs the floor. I mean, it definitely keeps up tempo. And then, a rim run, there's nothing like a great rim run, especially when it's an easy bounce pass in the paint.
You see the assistant coach, Ashley Williams, who played here at NC State. Or sorry, Brittany Morris. No, there's Ashley Williams. That's right.
Ashley, yep.
They're all sitting together on the bench. There's Ashley.
There's also Brittany.
And there's Wes sitting on the bench. You don't see that too often. And back to your days at NC State.
You have to be you have to have, tough skin. I mean, that's with any coaching, especially with basketball and playing at this level. Each game, he says each game, it doesn't matter. It's a championship game. Learning from those mistakes, regardless on what the score is on the scoreboard. You're going to see those clips from, the fourth quarter. You're like, come on, coach, we're up by, this much.
We're up by 40.
But he wants to make sure we pay attention to detail no matter what the score is and no matter who we're playing.
First points tonight for Maddie Cox, top 100 recruit in the country. Here's LaRue letting it fly. Tried to call bank, not open on a Wednesday night. So NC State hasn't scored now in 3 minutes. One of the few stretches where the offense isn't clicking. Scoring from the field, I should say. A tight defense here from Willard. Willard now switches to Rivers. Good closeout there from Elon. Here's Willard running the court. I feel like this is a heat check moment. Made a good defensive play, feet of the rock.
Right. I mean, like you said before, Willard had a great game against Gardner-Webb with 14 points, went 5 for 7. I'd love to see her, get the ball in her hands in this possession.
That pass a bit strong, and a turnover for Elon. Only 7 turnovers tonight for the Phoenix.
And I mean, earlier in the first half, they were getting good shots. They just weren't able to knock them down.
An Elon team that has to play without right now starting point guard Raven Preston day to day for the All-CAA sophomore. Good news is not a long-term injury. She'll be back in a couple of weeks. NC State lets it fly and can't hit the 3. Good rebound, Walton on the Lacey Steele miss. Walton into the trees and wisely passes it out. There's Raven Preston, who not only was an All-CAA rookie, the first team all-conference player as a freshman in Elon history. That was big honors for Raven, but unavailable at least for the next couple of weeks. Hope to have her back come conference play with an illegal pick here on Wedkowski. So you add no starting point guard, you're down a couple other players, and you're playing a number 14 team in the country. That's a tough task if you're Elon.
Absolutely, but then that's the next man up. That's where it comes with depth. The next person needs to be ready to play, and in this case, Pass has done a pretty good job as a freshman earning her minutes this game.
Everyone touching the rock for the Wolfpack. Collier. Wow, Collier cleaning space. Gets it back. Wants a foul and won't get it. Out on the run. Willard. Oh, the bank is finally kind. Good bounce shot there for Elon. That breaks a 3-minute scoring drought for Elon. Oh, steal. I think that was blocked. Collier gets it back and bangs home her first bucket of the night. Whoa, Willard with the step through, and it'll stay here. I love the tenacity that Ruby Willard.
Absolutely. I mean, she just hustles. You have those blue-collar players, people that hustle hard. And finally getting one to fall, it definitely, I'm sure, feels good. And coming off of a game like Gardner-Webb, Gardner-Webb, trying to feed off of that, but then also give your teammates those open looks as well.
Ruby Willard did not play her senior year of high school and only 5 games last year as a freshman. So this is her first extended minutes coming off an injury. Yeah,
Coach mentioned, her finding her way back, coming into this is her, first year back and just, staying on the court. She said, Coach Smith also said that basketball is 10% physical and 90% mental, and she had to emphasize that to Willard.
Final few seconds of this third quarter with the 3-time ACC champion Kai Crutchfield and Evan Budrovich. No hangover for the Wolfpack tonight, especially on the offensive end. Steele late in the clock. Brooks from NBA range, a bit short. And that ends the third quarter. NC State searching for a 3-0 start. Well, a 40-point pad will certainly help here in Raleigh. Welcome back to Raleigh, the historic home of the Hall of Fame coach Kay Yao, who began her coaching career at Elon back in the 1970s. Of course, then won 700 games plus for NC State, Hall of Famer for both programs. And the Yao family is sprinkled all over these Elon and NC State programs. Kay and Debbie and many more who step foot on both campuses. There's also neat ties to Charlotte Smith. Her uncle is the national champion at NC State, retired Hall of Famer David Thompson. Now, her family's neat. The Alvin Gentry aspect, the Derek Wittenberg, 83 champion with Ernie Myers here at NC State, and Thompson, of course, the headliner of that group. So many ties between these programs.
And I feel like that's what makes the game, playing a game like this or coaching against a game like this, so special.
Charlotte Smith noted 20 years of recruiting on the road against Westmore for teams in the SoCon back in the day. It was neat to have those two reunite. Good block here to start the fourth quarter by Maya Johnson, the Raleigh native out of Southeast Raleigh. There's got to be a sense of hometown pride when you return home.
I'm sure she kept asking for tickets, asking her teammates, like, hey, I need some tickets. You only get 4.
Yeah, that 4 allotment turned into 16 pretty quick for those out-of-town teammates. Hey, Vanessa Taylor, you're from Sweden. I can borrow your tickets, right?
She's like, no, yeah, I got some people coming. Like,
and tickets have been hard to come by here in Raleigh this year. Multiple sellouts on the books already. Of course, Sunday was the headliner with number 2 UConn. Lacey Steele putting on a show for this crowd and draws a foul. That win Sunday for NC State was their first win as an unranked team over a ranked opponent since 2015. And Westmore, who's been through all of that and has won 20+ games in the stretch of 8 years. Zoe Brooks will look to add to those totals with an and one opportunity.
Zoe Brooks has been really solid here for the Wolfpack in the start of the season. I mean, at the UConn game, she had some great points. She was electric on defense, and you know, it's transferring over for her here today.
Westmore was not afraid if Zoe Brooks could transition to this level. He was curious how her playmaking ability would be, and we're seeing both of those aspects tonight.
You know, coming in as a freshman too, you know, the speed of the game is also different. Getting used to the change of pace and all that stuff. You know, running up the court's the same length, but you know, those lungs, you got to get those lungs conditioned, and the strength and conditioning coaches usually, you know, at this level do a really good job of that.
Felipe Lopes runs the strength program here at NC State. And there's a steal for Lacey Steele. Brooks on the attack. Oh my gosh. Good luck stopping that freshman. Yeah. The crossover, the fiery kicks. That's a top 10 recruit in the country coming in. Fun to watch. Johnson on Island needs some help as Elon now with its largest deficit of the game. The Phoenix will gear up for North Carolina on Saturday, another top 25 team. Pass. Had to heave it late in the clock and a shot clock violation.
I believe Brooks might have tipped that. Zoe catches the ball here, attacks the defender's high foot. You see that she closes out, but then she attacks, and that's what Coach Mark calls the blue bayou, what he says in practice.
Did you ever say that when you played? I know you're more of a three-point shooter than a driver of the basketball.
You know, I feel as though I was a, you know, a three-point threat. You know, I was able to, not just at the three-point level, but a three-dimensional player. I guess that's what I meant to say. Three-dimensional player.
And a three-time champion in the ACC as Hayes is fouled.
Three's a great number. Three's a great number.
So Madison Hayes will head to the free throw line. Madison's now in the top 10 in the country in assist to turnover ratio. It's only a couple games in, but tonight still searching for that first assist. Because NC State, they want to climb the hill that was once dominated by the Wolfpack. You look at Virginia Tech and its dominant run. This conference traditionally in the last 5 years has been run by this program here in Raleigh.
Yeah, I mean, NC State has had a lot of growth and a lot of building, and you know, I'm extremely proud to be a part of that. And it's about the legacy. You know, now you got NC State having new locker rooms with sleeping pods and all that stuff. That's the one thing, you know, I'm just like, dang, I wouldn't even go home after practice, just shower here. And
that sounds like buyer's remorse. Recruited a couple years late is what it sounds like.
Just a little bit, but again, it's all about the legacy. You build it to sustain the program and, you know, to continue to win those ACC championships.
Pass is a fun little player to watch. Great find and transition there for Isis Adams.
The patience when she got in the paint. Not a lot of times in transition do you see someone able to just dribble in the paint and wait for a teammate to come. But on NC State's end, they could have hustled a little more in transition defense.
Maraja's tiny, listed 5'4", but she plays well beyond that size. Williamson all by herself, fought through the trees and gets the layup. The Southern Utah transfer. Williamson was the WAC Defensive Player of the Year and second team all WAC. Adams then blocked by the all defensive player. Feeding Brooks behind the back. Oh, she missed it. Did everything right. Steele's turn. That time she hits it.
know, coming in as a freshman, making a play, getting a couple steals, and hitting a three really feels good, especially like this. That's the situation, you know, this game is definitely a confidence game for her. Wasn't able to knock down as many shots as she wanted to, I'm sure, in the UConn game, but today she's definitely, you know,
that's Lacey Steele's first three of her NC State tenure.
Yep.
Put that in the record books for a couple years from now. Elon searching for life offensively here late. Isis Adams, the East Carolina transfer, unable to hit it. And the official needs some help here. Tommy Paris asking Sarah Williams for some expertise.
It seems as though Zoe Brooks might have gotten the rebound before.
It'll be called a jump ball. Is this not reviewable? I guess the officials determined they couldn't tell who touched it last. Well, we'll give you the picture-in-picture.
It seems like Zoe Brooks might have tapped it out, but...
Okay, official. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Probably insignificant in a 48-point difference, but something to know for later. NC State's, whose offense has been clicking to start the year. 84, 92 points, and 79 points tonight. Entering the final 5 minutes of this fourth quarter. Walton enters the lane and draws a foul.
Walton's got a quick crossover. Stays really low to the ground on that too.
What has impressed you about NC State's ability to not overlook Elon and play quality ball tonight?
I would definitely say playing like them, you know, it's easy to what's the word? It's easy to let the lead kind of, I guess, disfigure how you play your ball. And making sure that they're staying, you know, consistent, you know, helping the helper, closing the gaps, not letting them get as many touches in the paint. I think it's what's kind of helped them here so far.
That has allowed 10 different players to check in tonight for NC State. A couple more that could come in late.
Williamson asking for the ball here.
And a foul here on Booth. We'll take the media timeout. NC State about to wrap up a 3-0 start here in Raleigh when we return. College basketball has been a little bananas the first week of the season. Here's a list of the fun upsets so far. How about Colorado going from number 20 in the country up to number 5 with a huge win over Kim Mulkey? And all of a sudden, you look at the Pac-12 conference. Utah did lose, but that's the only loss for the Pac-12 all year, 31-1. And now there's 5 Pac-12 teams in the top 10 in the country.
I mean, hey, it's basketball season.
Back the pack, baby.
It's almost like it's March, but not yet.
NC State with a huge ranked win, moving up to number 14 with the victory. And that's the best part. These rankings are just getting rolling, especially next week when those big tournaments take place. NC State will play number 5 Colorado the day after Thanksgiving as Zoe Brooks drops in the layup.
Zoe Brooks is extremely calm and collected. The most emotion I've seen out of her is probably one time during the UConn game. I mean, after she scores a bucket, it's just like, I do this. Just run back on defense.
There's a ton of confidence from that true freshman. We have a jump ball here. Zoe Brooks out of Plainfield, New Jersey. Had 10 points in that second quarter against UConn. Really helped spark the comeback. Once you get those chicken nuggets at McDonald's as an All-American, it's a different story. She contests Regina Walton's shot.
The 10 count, nothing less.
I'm a 20-piece guy myself. Here's Lacey Steele running in transition. Couldn't hit. Collier cleans it up. Nice job on the boards from the true freshman.
Going into ACC play is definitely going to be big for, you know, her coming in, being a good presence in the
and filling a huge role of Camille Hobby, who was a longtime starter. Big post presence as well. Hobby, the grad transfer, opting out for her final year. Oh, a lot of contact. And James took a tough spill after that hit. Let's hope Oziah is okay. This will allow Brittany Blunt, the athletic trainer, to come out.
As soon as she got hit, it was like she grimaced, hoping it's nothing serious.
Check on her left leg right now. And some big minutes for what is now largely the freshman class on the floor. And there's Isaiah getting back to her feet. Definitely a little ginger on that left leg, so we'll keep an eye on that. Oh, that is knee-to-knee collision.
Yep.
Never fun. So something to know for NC State. They'll be back at action on Sunday against Rhode Island. Keep tabs on Isaiah James the rest of the week. So Jenna Ayesa comes in, the true freshman out of Cairo, Egypt, a walk-on freshman for NC State. Her second career game. She did check in against Charlotte.
And she knocked out a three.
Brought this place to its feet as well. Steele chucks up a three, and that'll help her second career triple. All the shots falling for NC State tonight. 7-0 run here in the last minute, up to 86 points. Not many people tabbed NC State as a 90-point-a-game scoring team coming in, at least through the first week. They've shown that.
Right. And they showed the diversity in regards to who is doing all the scoring.
Tonight it's James who has 20. Collins has 18. Steele's heating up. Can't hit that three. Tipped out to Ayesa. Her turn for three. A bit strong. And you hear this crowd in Raleigh ready to explode from the walk-on.
And that's what you love to see for NC State. You're being able to get those second and third chance opportunities to put the ball in the basket.
As a player, when a walk-on or a lesser-known name checks in, what's that emotion like when they get to score?
You know, it's like, you know, you see them do it in practice, but when they come in and do it in the game, it's like, oh, like, you know, oh my gosh, like everyone gets a touch. Everyone gets to be on the scouting report. Everyone gets to have that number next to their name on the box score.
All 11 players now checked in for NC State. Good screen to set up pass. Ayesa here on defense. And a hand touch foul underneath. Much to the chagrin of this home crowd in Raleigh. Even to Jana's surprise. Pass. Tough angle there. Wadlowski to turn. Wow, the rims are unkind to Elon tonight. 3-minute scoring drought now for the Phoenix, who will drop to 1-2 and gear up for North Carolina. NC State will gear up for an A-10 favorite in Rhode Island. There were some crazy games tonight in the CAA ACC Challenge, quote unquote. A&T beat Wake Forest. William & Mary's in a tussle with Virginia late. And Hampton lost to North Carolina today. So 5 matchups of CAA versus ACC. Who's the true Atlantic and who's the true Coastal?
I think that's a great question.
And now the CAA is the Colonial Athletics. So all the names get thrown around. And the ACC is adding Stanford. So they cover coast to coast. As there's a coast to coast layup in transition from Addie Cox. We had talked earlier about possible hangovers for NC State. Well, not on the offensive end. Over 50% from the field. Wadlowski comes up short. And even in this final minute, both teams are hitting the deck.
that's also good to see as a coach. You know, you're still playing hard until the clock hits 0.
The NC State bench begging to feed Ayesa. Instead, Collier puts on the spin cycle and hits the layup. 6 points for the freshman.
You know, that's a great move. She felt the defense over her left shoulder, so she spun back and finished with the left hook.
NC State will secure its 7th straight win over Elon, as Pass puts up a good effort late. And Elon closes out the books up to 35 points. Władkowski there on the lay-in. And after its most emotional win of the season on Sunday, no letdown for NC State tonight. 90 points, dominant scoring. And the Wolfpack move to 3-0, notching an impressive win here over Elon. On a night where Sanaya Rivers was dishing the dime with a career-high 7 assists, the Wolfpack balanced in tonight's win.
For sure, and I mean, again, coming off of a 33-10, and then being able to now facilitate for her teammates so she can get other people that have some touches. Also getting the freshman the ball, getting them some confidence going into this next game against Rhode Island. Mallory Collier definitely stepped up to be post presence, finishing with 6 points. Then you also have Lacey Steele finally getting her name in the books, hitting 3 points, getting some 3-pointers beyond the arc here down in this game. Again, Zoe Brooks, no surprise, you know, as she did in the UConn game, stepping up here, having double digits, and then in this game being able to also score and facilitate.
10 different players score for the Wolfpack tonight, earning their 54th straight home win over an unranked opponent. Coming up Sunday, NC State and Rhode Island, but tonight, for Kai Crutchfield and our talented crew led by Lucas Raycraft, I'm Evan Budrovich. We say good night from Raleigh as the number 14 Wolfpack roll over the Elon Phoenix.